A month ago, did you know the term social distancing? Yeah, neither did I. But as we've discussed day in and day out, just about every public health expert agrees it's the only way to flatten that curve. Unfortunately, for the more than 2 million people locked up in prisons and jails nationwide, social distancing is next to impossible. And as more cases of coronavirus in prison are being identified every day, some are pushing for the release of nonviolent inmates, especially those who may be most vulnerable to the disease. It's an issue President Trump said he was considering just earlier this week.
It's a bit of a problem. We're talking about use of totally nonviolent prisoners. We are actually looking at that, yes.
So while the feds are looking, more than a dozen states are doing, including some counties here in Massachusetts, where inmates, officers, and at least one medical provider have tested positive so far. Suffolk County District Attorney Rachael Rollins is among those who've been pushing for the move. She joins me now via Zoom. District Attorney, it's good to see you as always. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jim.
Who exactly do you want to let out, and what would be the criteria for their release?
So we are looking at the fact that prisons and jails are unique places where people come in and out every day. We've limited some of those people. There's no longer visits from loved ones and family members, but the COs come back and forth every single day, medical providers every single day, the community's at risk. So I'm interested in individuals, nonviolent, overwhelmingly, pretrial detainees who have not been found guilty yet, that are overwhelmingly there because they can't afford their bail. And then we are also considering, Jim, post-conviction, some individuals that have been sentenced that are have public health reasons why they could be released. Always balanced with public safety, though.
By the way, most of those people you don't think should be in jail anyway, even if there was no coronavirus, right?
100%. And I'd like to add that many of the measures that are going into place right now across the country are my list of 15.
So a couple of counties are already releasing people in that demographic, Middlesex being one. Has Suffolk released anybody yet, or is it just in the contemplation stage?
No, we are every single day handling requests from the defense bar. And what we've done, Jim, unlike many of the other DAs in our Commonwealth, is we have a form, actually, that people have to fill out. We probably have about 160 people that would fall in the pretrial detainee population. I'd say 50 of them we would say we agree with. And what we're trying to do right now, Jim, is we're asking that these be looked at sort of as a motion for reconsideration as opposed to a bail review. No matter whether you're in the municipal or district courts, if you ask for a bail review, it goes right up to Superior Court. If you ask for reconsideration, it can stay in the municipal and district courts. We don't want to overburden the Superior Court right now. So my first assistant is working round the clock with all the different chief justices of all the municipal and district courts we handle to try to get people in front of a judge. And remember, Jim, I don't get to make this decision. Neither does the criminal defense bar. A judge has to make this decision. This isn't like the 211-3 that we filed with respect to prosecutorial discretion or the 211-3 that we filed about immigration status. Bail is 100% in the court of the judge.
But none of these proceedings for possible release would happen at all if not as supported by you, correct? Or am I wrong about that?
No, that's wrong. I think criminal defense lawyers can file these requests as much as they want, and they have that right to do so. I think when a DA stands next to them and says, Your Honor, we agree with the defense on this, I think the court does look at that a little bit differently than if we oppose. But a defendant has this right no matter whether I agree or disagree.
As you know, some of your fellow DAs, Michael O'Keefe from the Cape, some sheriffs exactly disagree as well. For example, Sheriff Hodgson from Bristol has said things like, one, he thinks there are protocols in prison for people with communicable diseases, and two, that a lot of these inmates get better health care inside than they'd get outside. Is he wrong?
Well, what I will say is, yes, they are entitled to health care, but we have 11 we have 11 COVID-19 cases in our DOC in Massachusetts, according to an article that came out yesterday. New Jersey had 3, and they just, with their chief justice, their governor, with respect to their attorney general, as well as their public defender who filed the motion, they're releasing hundreds of people. I don't agree with what the sheriff has said. If prison cells, Jim, you have an open toilet in the middle of this room with 2 individuals in a bunk, and sometimes more than that. You have mess halls where people are eating, hundreds of people at once, and you can't get hand sanitizer because it has alcohol in it. So this is a violation of all of the social distancing requirements that those with physical freedom are partaking in every day.
Did you see what Sheriff Hodgson had to say about you in particular, District Attorney?
No, what was it?
I'll
Charming?
read it to you. District Attorney Rollins has a history of making it harder for the law enforcement community to protect our citizens, and he gives examples. She continues to put her personal political agenda above the health and well-being of the people she's sworn to protect. Instead of playing politics and dabbing into matters she has no expertise or experience with, DA Rollins should stick to the job she was elected to do, prosecute cases in Suffolk County. What do you say to Hodgson?
Stay in Bristol and let me do my job, right? This is what the people of Suffolk County want. And they're individuals that are serving time behind bars, Jim, that have mental health issues, that some of them certainly made a choice, but others found themselves with no choice but what they did. And their loved ones want them home and safe. They don't deserve, in addition to getting the sentence that they got, to be in a haven for COVID-19 and essentially a death warrant, potentially.
What do you think of the job that Hodgson is doing down there in Bristol County?
I don't. I'm focused on doing mine. I don't even know if I wouldn't even know him if he walked past me in an empty room. But what I can tell you is I'm less concerned about his thoughts than I am about the other progressive prosecutors around the country that are doing the right thing. Look, we're not talking about people that are raping people. We're not talking about people that are committing domestic violence, assaults. We're not talking about human traffickers. We're not talking about murderers. I'm talking about, with respect to pretrial detainees, you have not been found guilty yet. We're gonna make sure that we're focusing on that. And right now, Jim, there's a 211-3 that was actually filed by the public defenders and the Mass Association of Criminal Defense Attorneys. Yesterday, we got. The emergency judge was Justice Budd, who put us on a tight deadline. And just about 2 hours ago, she said it's going to go before the entire full Supreme Judicial Court of our Commonwealth. And we're going to have an argument on March 31st. So we're hopeful that our judiciary is going to give us some guidance. And I will comply with whatever they say.
You know, before you go, people I interview a lot like you, I never really get to go into their houses. And so this has been a bit of a joy. So over your left shoulder, there's a little Santa Claus in a pot. And over your right shoulder, there's a trophy. We only have time for one. What's the trophy for?
Oh, that's right. This is my daughter. First place, 55-meter hurdles, Colgate Games. Number one freshman hurdler in the United States of America. Proud mom, also proud district attorney, always trying to do the right thing.
Look at the smile on that woman's face. District Attorney, it's good to see you. Congratulations to your kid as well. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.